Property of Blood by Magdalen Nabb. Read by Bill Wallis. Chapter 1. I'll do my best to tell you everything, but the things I remember are perhaps not what you need. And then they took my watch, and because I couldn't see or hear, I often drifted away from the real world, and I could have lost seconds or days, even weeks. I do remember the beginning, though, because I went over it 1,000 times in my head in those first days, trying to work out what I should have done, how I should have reacted. I went over it, reinventing it so that I escaped. I screamed for help. Someone happened along. Leo came to meet me. He sometimes did. I passed a lot of time reinventing like that, but it didn't change the present any more than it changed what happened that night. I walked Tessie round the block. There was a freezing wind. I remember it howling and a crash every so often as a tile fell into the road or a shutter broke loose. Tessie kept pulling at her lead, as usual. I never can understand how she can run so fast, scuttling along on her tiny legs. They beat and kicked her until she screamed. I don't want to talk about that. I came back into the piazza and was pushing at the doors. Then nothing. I saw in the dark something like the blades of a fan spinning right in front of my nose and the world spinning with it. I wanted to be sick and I couldn't breathe. There was a smell of chloroform, and I thought I was in hospital coming round from an operation. I thought there would surely be something to be sick into, but I must have passed out again. This is a gap that's serious for you, I know, because I don't know how long I'd been in the car when I next woke up. I was on the floor between the front and back seats, and my face was pressed against the carpeting. Dust and fluff were in my mouth and nose. Beneath my face, I could feel the speed of the car going straight, probably on a motorway. I think a leather jacket was covering me, and it stank of sweat and another sour, greasy smell. I wanted to get it off my head because I couldn't breathe, but I found that my hands were tied behind my back. "I'm suffocating! Uncover my head! I'm suffocating!" I cried. A violent blow hit my ribs, and I realized that there was someone sitting with his feet on me. I tried to raise my head. "You have to let me breathe, please!" He kicked me in the head and said, "The bitch is awake." I heard some fumbling about and a tearing noise, and my head was yanked back by the hair, and his voice spoke right in my ear. "Don't you ever tell me what I have to do. Do you hear me? You're not in your fancy palazzo now. I'm in charge here. Got that?" "Yes." He put his boot under my chin and pulled my head back against the seat. Then he slapped a broad piece of sticking plaster over my mouth and pressed it hard. He kicked my head back to the floor and covered it even more closely with the smelly jacket. I was panic-stricken. My mouth was full of dirt, and the sticking plaster forced me to breathe that unbearable stink deeply through my nose. I lost control and screamed, or tried to, but the screams got no further than my throat and were useless and painful. A voice from the front, not the driver, yelled, "What the fuck are you doing?" I've plastered her mouth up. Bitch was making too much noise. "You dickhead, get it off, get it off. If she throws up after the chloroform, she'll choke to death. Get it off." I heard Tessie whining, then a yelp, as someone hit her. The fingers fumbling under my nose stank of nicotine. I held my breath as the big plaster was ripped away. A few of my hairs had got tangled in there when he put it on, and the pain as these too were ripped away was terrible. I started crying. They ignored me because they were still quarrelling. The one in front was furious. "You don't touch her unless I say so. I'm responsible for the goods being intact, and what I say goes." I tried to clean the fluff and grit from my tongue using my teeth and spitting. I breathed through my mouth to avoid at least some of the smell of stale sweat. The arm I was lying on had gone dead, but I didn't try to shift my weight.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?